everyone, welcome back to the session. So we're gonna start the session in a couple of minutes. So I request everyone to join on time. So we'll start in 2 or 3 minutes, okay? Yeah, so we can start off the session. Yeah, so in the last class, we have worked for Raspberry Pi, right? So, okay, so let's understand what is this Raspberry Pi. So, Raspberry Pi is an open source hardware and it is not similar like the board that you have used before, which is an Arduino and also Node MCU. Okay, so this board cost us the basic board costing around. So, you can also check. The minimum is 5,000 and maximum it will be goes to 16,000 or something like. But if it is a 5,000, then it is a B1 model with 4 GB. And if you see 13,000, it is costing you for 13,549 rupees this board. Okay, very expensive board. And this is a processor, guys. Okay, this is a processor, microprocessor. Okay. And you can also see the uniqueness of this board is great. Greetings, Raspberry Pi enthusiasts. So its official Raspberry Pi 5 has arrived. So when it is arrived, you can also get to understand what kind of attacks this board have. Okay, specifications, warranties, and also reviews, attached videos, and all. So you see Raspberry Pi 5 8 GB RAM as the latest generation of the iconic computer marvel, which is packed with 64-bit quad-core ARM Cortex of A76 processor. And also you will see it is having the frequency in the range of 2.4 gigahertz. So Raspberry Pi board is an in impressive that 2 or 3x increasing of CPU performance, which means comparing to your normal CPU, it will work more faster than 2 or 3x. It is more than twice. So compared to the procedures that you're using in Raspberry Pi 4. So not stopping there, it is deliver the boost of the graphics powered thanks to 800 megahertz video core and 7 GPU supporters dual 4K P60 display output via HDMI and other offer states of the ARM camera capabilities. So all of this I have given. If you understand what is there in the board, so you have a processor which is Raspberry Pi RP1 input output controller, and you also have a fan to control it, and you have Ethernet and also USB connectors. So four USB connectors, it will be there for you, and you can connect one to your mouse and one to your keyboard or something like. Okay, and you also have a PoE hat connector, and coming to the right side, more things are there like model indicator. So you see the numbers here. So, okay, that is the model indicator and BCM processor and interference on and off buttons and power management IC, heat shrink movement, and also RTC battery and UART connector. So these are the features of the board like 2.4 gigahertz quad core 64-bit ARM Cortex and video core of 7 GPU. And yeah, these are the specifications. If you wanted to also understand all of this, please go through the website. I can share this website link for you in the chat. In the chat, I am sharing with you, everyone. Okay. Now let's understand what this is board and all. You can get on Raspberry Pi. Okay. So there is a Wikipedia here. So you see, if you wanted to completely understand what this Raspberry Pi can does, what are the product lines that they are expecting, and what is the sales market, and everything is there in this Wikipedia. If you have interest, please go through it. So I highly recommend for you to go through it. Okay, so yeah, so before going to all of this, I wanted to present my presentation, like what is Raspberry Pi, what it used for, and all of this. Okay. So you see, let's understand what is Raspberry Pi first. Okay. I request everyone to listen this carefully. This is very important. Okay. So what is Raspberry Pi? A Raspberry Pi is a small programmable microprocessor. Okay. Which means generally controller will control all the sensors. Processor is the higher end than a controller. Okay. And costing is also very much more. And you have fireless instant start, fanless instant start. In the CPU you will be having a fan, right? So here you don't have anything to start your Raspberry Pi. Okay, so you can run your Raspberry Pi in Linux or Windows IoT, but Linux is mostly recommended. Okay, so local processing and a local storage. So it is completely replacing your CPU to the CPU's what? Central processing unit. Okay, a Raspberry Pi is also a processor. Without CPU, you can work with your computer using Raspberry Pi. A Raspberry Pi is a mini computer. Okay, so I hope you have a clarity on what is this Raspberry Pi. This is one kind of a board which is expensive. Okay, so and specifically when you're working with Raspberry Pi, you have to understand there is a software for it. Okay, Razian is the software for Raspberry Pi. So in the Raspberry Pi, you will be working on Python programs. So basics of Python we already started, and advancement we will be doing in the further classes. Because to work with Raspberry Pi, you have to understand the basics of Python. Because we are using Raspbian OS, in that OS, they will be having a Tony, where in the Tony you will be writing the program. Okay. And a Raspberry Pi is also a networking system and with an ultra low cost and low power. Okay, so if you take normal computer, it cost you around 30 or 40,000, right? But if you take a normal Raspberry Pi, which is costing 8 and 9,000, then your cost will also reduce, and you can take that basic computer everywhere you want. Okay, because you can't carry your CPU all the time, right? So instead of that, you can carry your Raspberry Pi, which is of pocket friendly, and the size of Raspberry Pi is in your ATM card. So you can put it in your pocket, and then you can take it whenever you want. Okay, so that easy it is. And history of the Raspberry Pi, the foundation, like Raspberry Pi Foundation, it has started in 2019. A charitable organization has started it. Okay. And there is also supporters for this organization, like University of Cambridge, Computer Laboratory, and also TechFrame Broadcom. So these people have helped for this charity. Okay. So SoC system on the chip and Linux OS based on the system. So they're telling that we are using SoC system. SoC is nothing but system on chip and also Linux OS for the system. So I request everyone to copy this, note down anywhere or take an image. Okay. So I hope you have noted down these points. This is very important. Now, like when we are talking about the history, then you have to understand the previous model that we used to use in the Raspberry Pi. So there is a model A and model B. Previously, we are using that. Starting of the Raspberry Pi cost is $25, which is 1625 rupees. And after few years, they have added few more features, and they have taken the charge of $35, which is 2275. So I'm talking about where 2009. I'm really talking about 2009. So these boards have been there. Okay. A model A, if you see a clearly image, now there is USB, there is an audio jack, video jack, and also one RAM and connector, right? So in the model B, you have a video jack, audio, USB, but one LAN is extra for you. Here, if you see, there is no LAN, but in the board B, you have a LAN here, okay? So which means they have added the Wi-Fi connections to the board, okay? So that's why the cost differences is there. And when we're talking about the specifications for the Model A and Model B, both are same, but the only difference is before model, we don't have Ethernet option, which is connect to the internet, and Model B have it, okay? You see no connector here in the Model A, but in the Model B, you have an Ethernet option. But everything is same here, like Broadcom B62835 is a board number, that is same. And the CPU can operate with 700 megahertz. So that is also same for Model A and Model B. So Broadcom Video Core IV is a GPU. That is also same. And memory also increased. Like it has initially started with 256 MB, but Model B has have 512 MB. Okay, so that is also a difference. And composite RCA HDMI, which is a memory. So and also video outlet. So that is RCA HDMI, and audio out is basically 3.5 mm jack, and storage is both having the SD cards. Okay, so that is the difference. Like connection is there, connection is there here in the Model B, connection is not there, but more or less both are same apart from memories. Okay. And this is Pi 3B, Pi 2B, and Pi 1B plus. Okay. So these are the different boards also there in the Raspberry Pi. And the difference here is generally Wi-Fi is there for Pi 3. Wi-Fi is not there in rest of all boards. Okay. So Pi 3 board, they have inbuilt Wi-Fi, but Pi 2 doesn't have it. They only use Ethernet option, which is wired, not wireless. Okay. Ethernet is having for all of this, and Raspberry Pi 1, Ethernet is also not there. Okay. So likely we have differences. And development boards, like Arduino is one of the board we have already worked with. NodeMCU is another board we've worked with. And Intel Edition, Edison is nothing but these boards are basically used in your laptops and all of the systems. And BeagleBone is similarly look like NodeMCU, but it does different operations. And this is very expensive even. Okay. Now collect your Raspberry Pi kit. So what is this meant is when you are buying a Raspberry Pi, so as we are working with only the physical hardware, that's why I have shown you the Pi Pico board, which is there in a Walkme platform. But if you really have an interest and wanted to work with this kind of a boards, you can buy it from Amazon or websites like all the shopping websites. You can buy Raspberry Pi Pi 3 model, and SD card will be slot will be there. You have to again buy the SD cards, and you have to buy 3V micro USB power cable, and HDMI VGA converter, SD card reader, and few sensors like to connect with the Raspberry Pi, like ultrasonic sensor, DHT11 sensor, MQ sensor, servo meter. These are the few sensors that we can buy and then connect with the Raspberry Pi. Okay. So ADC converter, LM2596 model, DC generator. These are the sensors basically, like sensors, motor drivers, adapters, and all of them. Okay. So this is a Raspberry Pi board description where you have 40 input output pins. Okay. So there is also layout for Raspberry Pi. So this is the 40 pins that we have in the Raspberry Pi. Follow from 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, followed by 40 you have. Okay. So in that 40 pins, we generally have 4 power pins. 2 is under 3.3 volts. Here you have a 3.3 and 17th also you have 3.3, right? 2 you have a 5 volts, which is 2 and 4th pin. Okay. So I request everyone to open this link. I'm sharing with you all in the chat and make sure you understand this pin out. I'm just waiting another 2 minutes. Please try to understand this. Okay, so I hope everyone got through this link and then checked what is there inside the Raspberry Pi. And if you observe, there is something written in the screen like GPIO. GPIO is nothing but general purpose input output pins. Okay. So don't think about what is SDA, SCL. This is not important for us as of now. For beginners, you only have to understand the GPIO pins. So the board numbers and GPIO numbers are not same. Okay. For example, the board number is 3, but the GPIO number is 2 here. Okay. So, for humans also it is highly difficult for us to understand where the GPIO number is there. Whenever you're doing any project, you can take this image as a sample and then connect. Okay. So GPIO 2 is there, GPIO 3 is there, and GPIO, there is also a ground. So altogether we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 grounds. Okay. So in this Raspberry Pi, we have 7 to 8 grounds, I think. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 8 grounds you have. And if you see, there is GPIO 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 in the down. Okay. And 7, 8 will be also here. Please go through it completely. Like 7, 8 is also here. And 9, 10, like GPIO 9 and 10 will be also there. See here, 9 and 10. Okay. 11, 12. So GPIO 12 is here. 11 will be here. Okay. And 13, 14, GPIO 14 is here. And GPIO 13 will be somewhere here, right? GPIO 13 is here. Okay. 15, 16, 17. GPIO 15 is here. GPIO 17 is here. GPIO 16 somewhere here. Okay. Yeah, GPIO 16 is here. 16, 17 is done, right? Now 18 is here and GPIO 19 is here. Okay. So humanly it is not possible to understand which number is having a GPIO numbers. So rather than doing all of this, you can actually go through any website, take this configuration, the kit that you are using, the board that you are using exactly, because different boards also having a different configurations. Okay. So that's why I make, please do think about it. Okay. So pin numbering. You see the pin numbering, we should define GPIO pin which we wanted to use as an output or an input. But Raspberry Pi has two ways of defining the pins. Okay. One is physical number or with the GPIO. Both the ways is okay to have the numbering. So in GPIO numbering, pin number refers to the number of the board. Okay. Number of the board or the system on the chip, so that we should always understand and also consider the pin mapping for the user GPIO pins. Okay. So while in the physical numbering, pin number refers to like 40 pins, like P1 header of the Raspberry Pi, likely that. Okay. The above physical numbers is simply as we can count the pin numbers as P1 header and assign it to GPIO. So, but what happened is, but still we should consider the pin configuration of the diagram that above now. Okay. So this is the complete, this we already work in the last class, like connecting one LED. Okay. Controlling LED with push button with the Raspberry Pi. So in the last class, we already worked with controlling LED, but you can control using a push button. Okay, when we are pushing the button, then only the LED will be blinking. So that hands-on program also will be doing in the classes, no problem at all. Okay. You see control LED using Python. In the last session, we only discussed about it. Now you let's turn on and off the LED using Python and Raspberry Pi. That switches as uses controls the LED on off, which means this Raspberry Pi program for controlling the LED using push button. So for example, I have connected to, let's say, 32 pin. I've connected my Raspberry Pi to a 32 pin. See, my LED have connected to 32 pin and my button I've connected to somewhere around 29, I think. Okay. So switch I've connected to 29. So LED is 32 and switch I've connected to 29. Now I'm using GPIO to set the warnings. Okay. So because initially it has to be disabled, so I have given a false here. Now we are going to set the pin numbering format. Because I wanted to use GPIO board, so I'm using GPIO.board. Okay. So I'm connecting to LED, which is GPIO out because it is an output. Okay. So GPIO, every time we are going to use a GPIO because Raspberry Pi deals with all GPIO pins. Okay. Dot setup. So and also switch GPIO in, pull down and is equals to GPIO pull up, which means on and off. Simple. GPIO input, GPIO pin, after then pull on and off. While the switch is low, if the input switch is actually on, then the LED should low. When the input pin is high, the LED should be glowing. So that is my logic here. Okay, so this is the Python programming language, the basic Python programming language. You can also understand RPI GPIO is nothing but Raspberry Pi .GPIO general purpose input output pins. Okay. Now to use Raspberry Pi GPIO pins in Python, we need to import RPI.GPIO. So that's why we imported RPI.GPIO as GPIO. Okay. So this is kind of a package. have all classes to control the GPIO pins. Okay. And RPI GPIO is nothing but Raspberry Pi package, which is already installed on Raspberry, which is a software, which is also a OS. OS is nothing but operating system. Okay. So we don't need to install it externally. Just we should include library in our program. Okay. So to use functions for GPIO, you can access using Python programming language. So that's the reason in the last few classes we have discussed with a Python programming language. Okay. This is given as in the following: import RPI GPIO has GPIO, where this function is used to define the number of systems is the GPIO numbering or a physical numbering. So if you also have a time, please go through this completely. So this link also I'm providing in the chat. Guys, if you have any queries, please drop the query in the chat. I can wait another 2 minutes and start giving the explanation. Okay. So if you have any other queries, please drop it in the chat. So I think I see no questions in the chat, so that I hope like everyone got to understand the concepts, the basics of the Raspberry Pi. Yeah. So let's explain the Raspberry Pi 3D board. Okay. So you have a Raspberry Pi look like this, 4 into USB 2 ports, which is nothing but you will be having a 4 ports of USB and one LAN port. And also you will be having 3.5 mm of 4-pole composite video and audio jack output. And also you have camera port inbuilt, which is CSI camera port. And this is your HDMI connection. And this is your power supply. And this is basically the display port. And you have micro SD card in the back. And also, you know, it is onboard Bluetooth, so you can also have a Bluetooth Wi-Fi enabled, and the board number is also there, like CPU 1.2 gigahertz of 1 GB or 2 GB, 3 GB, whatever the processor or RAM that you're using, and you see all GPIO pins altogether, the dimensions of the board. Okay, so this is the components of Raspberry Pi. And now the next step is installing the OS of Raspberry Pi. Okay. Now, installing the OS is nothing but operating systems. This you should not do it right now because you are not working on real hardware. If you are working with the real hardware, you have to follow all of the steps. But as of now, we are using virtual machines, then virtual tools, then this procedure is not required. But for you to having the glance, if you're using a real hardware, what is the things need to be used? This is a procedure for you. Okay. So an operating system is a set of programs and also utilities to make the hardware function. Okay. Which means the OS is a set of programs. Obviously, the operating system itself is a set of the programs to perform the hardware functions. And Raspbian, okay, it is a software and free for operating systems using Debian family's rough Raspberry Pi hardware. So let's start the formatting of the SD card. So generally in your Raspberry Pi, you have a slot to put your SD cards. So first SD card, if you have any data in the SD card, we have to format the SD card. Okay. So formatting the SD card is very simple. You can tools required for formatting your SD card. So first is laptop and desktop, SD card reader, and your minimum size of SD card is an 8 GB. Okay, 4 to 8 GB is fine, and SD card formatted software. So all of these are tools required. And can use SDHC adapter or USB SD card reader. Okay, so put SD card into a reader and connect the laptop or a desktop. First, what you want to do is you can put the SD card into a reader. Better, if I wanted to explain all of this, you will be getting a confusion. So I'll play one video where a Raspberry Pi and also OS installations will be there. Just give me a minute. So this is the video that I request you to all watch. Okay, so here in the video, they've clearly explained. I can also show, but real hardware is required to show. So that's why I'm showing a video like how to install your Raspberry Pi. How to, a Raspberry Pi software is Raspbian. Before that, you have to use Imager. Okay, so please watch this video. You'll have a clarity. Can you hear this voice? Voice of the
easier, cleaner, and perfect for beginners. So let's jump straight in. All right, before we move ahead, there are a few things you need to keep ready. The very first step is to download Raspberry Pi Imager 2.0. To do that, head over to the official Raspberry Pi software page. I've added the link in the description below. Once you're on the page, you'll notice that Imager is available for Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and of course, Raspberry Pi OS itself. Choose the version that matches your computer. I'm downloading the Windows version here, but the installation process is pretty much the same for all platforms. Now that the Raspberry Pi Imager setup file is downloaded, let's go ahead and install it. Just double-click the installer. On the installation window, select your preferred language. Click Next, accept the license agreement, and keep all settings as default. Hit Install, wait a few seconds, and then click Finish. The Raspberry Pi Imager will launch automatically. Next we need is a micro SD card, preferably 32 GB or 64 GB class 10. I always recommend 32 GB as the minimum, even if you're a beginner on a budget. It gives you more room for updates, apps, and files without worrying about storage. If you're in a hurry, here are the 3 best SD cards for Raspberry Pi. Official Raspberry Pi SD card, best overall, and the fastest for most users. SanDisk Ultra, best value for money. SanDisk Extreme, best choice if you want larger sizes up to 1 terabyte. Next, you'll need an SD card reader to connect the micro SD card to your computer. If your laptop has a built-in slot, great. If not, any USB card reader will work just fine. Once you have these ready, we can move on to flashing Raspberry Pi OS using the Imager. All right, let's jump into the Raspberry Pi Imager. The first step in the new wizard is to select your Raspberry Pi device. Click on the option that says Select Device, and you'll see a list of all Raspberry Pi models. Choose the one you're using. For example, Raspberry Pi 5, Raspberry Pi 4, Raspberry Pi 3, or even older models if you're using them. Selecting your exact model helps the Imager apply the right settings, optimizations, and compatibility checks before flashing the OS. Once you've selected your device, we can move on to the next step, choosing the operating system. Under the Choose OS option, you'll find a complete list of operating systems that the Raspberry Pi Imager supports. Raspberry Pi OS is now available in both 32-bit and 64-bit editions. Not all Raspberry Pi boards support the 64-bit version, but for newer models like the Raspberry Pi 4 and Raspberry Pi 5, 64-bit OS can give you noticeably better performance. So make sure to check the compatibility list before you choose. For most users, the recommended option is Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit. It's stable, lightweight, and perfect for everyday use. If you want a minimal command line only setup, you can select Raspberry Pi OS Lite. And if you're using an older board or facing compatibility issues, you'll also find legacy versions of Raspberry Pi OS. You'll also notice other operating systems like Ubuntu RetroPie, Home Assistant Media Center, OS options, and more. But for this video, we'll go ahead with Raspberry Pi OS because it's the best starting point for beginners and works smoothly on all recent Raspberry Pi models. Once you've selected your OS, click Next to proceed. Next, we move on to selecting the storage device. Before you proceed, make sure the option Exclude System Drive is checked. This ensures that your computer's internal storage is hidden so you don't accidentally select and overwrite your system drive. Now, connect your micro SD card to your computer using an SD card reader. As soon as you plug it in, the Raspberry Pi Imager will automatically detect it and show it in the list. Select your SD card from the list. And remember, a quick warning here. All the data on this micro SD card will be completely erased during the flashing process. So make sure to back up anything important before moving ahead. Once you're ready, we can proceed to the next step. Now we're at the most important part of Raspberry Pi Imager 2.0, the system configuration settings. This is where all the magic happens. In the new Imager, customization is built right into the setup wizard, so you can configure everything before your Pi even boots for the first time. You'll start with the host name, which is basically the name your Raspberry Pi will use on your network. You can call it anything you like, something simple and recognizable so you can easily spot it later when connecting remotely. Next, you'll see your location settings. Here you can select your country, language, and time zone. Setting these correctly ensures your keyboard layout, time, and regional preferences work perfectly right from the first boot. Then comes the user account section. This is where you set your default username and password. Raspberry Pi OS no longer uses the old Pi default user for security reasons, so you'll need to create your own here. Make sure to choose a password that's easy for you to remember but still secure.
The interview question that decides everything.
Preset your wireless network. If you want your Raspberry Pi to connect automatically, just enter your Wi-Fi name and password here. The Imager will save these details to the SD card so your Pi connects to your network the moment it boots. You'll also find remote access options. This includes SSH. If you plan to control your Raspberry Pi from another computer without connecting a monitor and keyboard, enabling SSH here is super helpful. You can choose a password login or even add your SSH public keys for secure access. A standout new feature in Imager 2.0 is the ability to pre-configure Raspberry Pi Connect. This lets you link your Pi to your account during imaging, so features like remote screen sharing and secure shell access work instantly on first boot. No extra setup needed. You can skip this step if you want, but if you'd like to set it up now, let's do it. First, toggle Enable Raspberry Pi Connect. You'll now see a button to open Raspberry Pi Connect. Click on it. This will open a web page where you can either sign in with an existing Raspberry Pi account or create a new one. If you don't have an account yet, just click create one for free, and fill out the registration form. After you submit it, a confirmation email will be sent to the address you used. Open that email and click the verification link to activate your account. Once that's done, return to Raspberry Pi Imager and click Open Raspberry Pi Connect again. This time, you'll be given an option to create a new authorization key. Click Create Authorization Key and launch Raspberry Pi Imager. The Imager will reopen with your authorization key automatically filled in, and you can simply click Next to continue. And now you're all set to write Raspberry Pi OS onto your SD card. Go ahead and click Write. When you click Write, the Imager will warn you that all data on the SD card will be erased. Make sure you've backed up anything important before proceeding. Writing process can take a few minutes, depending on the speed of your SD card, so just sit back and let it complete. During this time, the tool will first write the image and then verify it to make sure everything is correctly saved. Once the progress bar reaches 100% and you see the Write Successful message, your SD card is fully prepared and ready to go.
So I hope you understand like how to, change your SD card, how to clear your SD card and how to format it and also how to install your OS. So I hope you understand everything. So if you have any queries, please drop your query. If not, I can share this link also with you. But again, you have to understand this procedure we are not doing because we are not working on real hardware. If you have a real hardware, then this is a procedures to follow. Okay. I hope I'm clear to everyone. So thank you so much for joining us today. So we can continue in the next class. Okay. If you have any queries, please drop your query in the chat. Okay, so I see no queries, so I'm stopping the session right now, and we can catch up on the next class. Thank you so much.